This isn't just another business story. No. This is a story about illusion. It's about an ambition so huge it bent reality itself. A deception that tricked an entire industry.
Just let that sink in for a second. We're not talking about businesses that failed. We're talking about businesses that were never even real. Ghosts on a spreadsheet.
And why? Why would they do that? Well, to look like a billion-dollar company. It was all for that siren song of the startup world, right? That obsession with hypergrowth, massive scale, and a valuation that was supposed to reach the moon.
This is that story. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible rise and the even more spectacular fall of GoMechanic, a company that started with a genius idea but was built on a foundation of pure fiction.
Okay, so before this whole empire of lies, you got to understand there was a really powerful idea. Let's rewind to 2016. You've got 4 founders in Gurgaon, and they see a problem that millions of Indian car owners know all too well. Getting your car serviced is a total nightmare. Their solution? It was actually pretty brilliant. The pitch was simple. They were going to be the Ola for car servicing. You know, a tech platform that connects you to good, verified garages, promises fair, transparent prices, and lets you track everything. They were supposed to bring trust to an industry that, let's be honest, didn't have a lot of it. And for a minute there, it really looked like they had cracked the code.
And that idea, man, it was like pouring gasoline on a fire. GoMechanic didn't just grow, it exploded. It became the absolute darling of India's startup world, the poster child for digital disruption.
I mean, the speed was just staggering. We're talking a few short years to go from just a concept to a company that claimed it was all over India. And they had the big names backing them, venture capital giants like Sequoia. This was the dream, right? This was everything a founder could want.
And the numbers they were throwing around, get this, 2 million cars serviced a year. 2 million. That was the headline they sold to the world. A number so big it made them look totally unstoppable. A guaranteed future unicorn.
But here's the thing. That kind of insane growth, it comes with immense pressure. Pressure from investors, pressure to hit impossible targets, pressure to just keep the story alive. And somewhere in that pressure cooker, the line between reality and the story they were telling started to get blurry. And then it just snapped.
And this, right here, is where the story takes a very dark turn. This is the moment where that desperation to make the real world match the fairy tale led them down a path of just making things up.
So what was really going on behind those big, flashy numbers? Well, when the actual business just couldn't keep up with the fantasy they were selling, it seems they decided to do something shocking. They just created a new reality on paper.
We're talking about ghost garages, service centers that were listed as partners but literally didn't exist. They were just names on a list. Then they allegedly just fabricated revenue on Excel sheets. It was all a giant, carefully built illusion designed to hide one simple fact. The company wasn't nearly as successful as they claimed.
Eventually, an internal audit blew the whole thing wide open. And the number they found is just staggering. A full 1/3. 33% of the business that investors were pouring millions and millions of dollars into was completely fake, a lie.
You know, an empire built on lies, it can't last. It just can't. And for GoMechanic, the end came when they were trying to raise even more money. Some new investors started doing their homework, due diligence. They pulled on one little thread, and the whole thing just unraveled. And then came the confession, a public statement from the founder, Amit Basan, that said everything you need to know. He said, "We made errors in judgment as we followed growth at all costs." Think about that phrase, growth at all costs. Well, it turns out the cost was everything. And the fallout? It was immediate, and it was brutal. This wasn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet anymore. The lies told by a few people at the top had a massive human cost. 700 employees, that's 70% of the entire company, were laid off. Just like that, gone.
But look, this story is bigger than just one company that failed. What happened at GoMechanic holds up a really harsh mirror to the entire startup world, to an ecosystem that sometimes seems way more obsessed with a good story than a good business.
It really boils down to this dilemma, doesn't it? On one side, you have this incredibly tempting promise of huge funding, massive scale, becoming a unicorn. And on the other side, you have the basics: truth, trust, integrity. GoMechanic clearly made their choice, and it's a hell of a warning for everyone else. You know that saying, fake it till you make it?
Well, this is what happens when you take that idea to its absolute catastrophic conclusion. They faked it, all right? They faked it so hard they never got the chance to make it. They just broke and left a total wreck of broken trust and ruined careers in their wake.
So the GoMechanic story, it forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question. As we look out at this whole startup boom, how much of it is real? How many of these incredible success stories are built on solid fundamentals? And how many are just built on a good story that everyone, from founders to investors, just really, really wanted to believe? That's the question the entire industry has to grapple with now.